my name is Stanton, and I live on Santa Drive. And tonight I wanted to express my concern regarding fees for the Parks and Rec Department without the extended daycare program. Last year the fees for the program increased considerably, and we were told that the program was going to change, that it was going to have some added experienced personnel. And we really saw no change to the program whatsoever. There was the same themes, the same games, the same crafts. And tonight, the Parks and Rec Department stated that they were not here to make more money, and I just wanted to make sure of that. I can send my child to the North Syracuse program as a non-resident for a lot cheaper than I can send my child to the Cicero program as a resident. And I can appreciate that you're trying to accommodate those who work with the extra time and hours, but for those whose parents have a parent who is at home and who doesn't work, the large fees make it too expensive for me to send my child there. So I just would like the board to keep in mind that when children are kept involved in activities like Parks and Rec and the canteen, they are less likely to be involved in negative activities. Therefore, I would like the board to make sure that they can keep the fees as low as possible so that all people are able to participate. Thank you very much.
Jody, can you just address the fees last year as to the increase in the county's requirement? I believe they required certain things in training for certain individuals, which increased it last year. From what I recall, if you could add on to that.
Yes, I've spoken with a couple of parents, and this lady this evening has a very similar comment. We were in a transition last year from a playground program to a day camp program, which is now regulated by the state of New York Health Department regulations. The fee increase was because of the amount of supervision required for the program, which went from a ratio of 20 to 25 children to 1, prior to, I believe, 12 to 1. The increase in the cost of that program is borne solely by the number of staff required by the State Health Department regulations. We looked at the fees. We'd love to have kept it a playground program, but every other program within the county has gone to a day camp program. The Village of North Syracuse sets their fees based on what their village board requires of them. I'm not sure what their fee will be this year. Ours was borne by what the requirement of the previous board was. We are here to cover our costs, and that's all we are here to do. If we have more than the minimum, which we have to select a number, then we do make additional funds on it, but it is not anything outrageous. And we are under the impression and very cognizant of the cost to allow children to these programs. I will have to say that the majority of our parents are working parents now. And when we looked at the cost of daycare and our day camp program for $60 for a week or $55 a week, yes, it was a substantial increase from the prior year when it was a playground program, but for $55 a week to have children 6 hours was a very great program cost in relation to what daycare is. The program was in transition last year. We did take that under advisement from the parents I've spoken with, even as recent as last week. We will do a better job of creating I guess a better program for the children this year, but our regulations, the majority of that cost is staffing.
And prior to the implementation last year, did the state ever consult us or investigate any wrongdoing or anything like that? So this program that we had prior to last year, the cost went up basically once again by another state regulation. This program ran for several years. We never had a problem. Fantastic feedback from residents. Once again, the state came in, implemented, and said, no, you have to have more staffing, although we've been having problems, which increased our costs, unfortunately. And I know that was a concern, and we were not happy about doing that, but once again, you know.
Well, we have actually run a program, I've been here 23 years, we've run a program for 22 of those years under the same auspice that it would have been a day camp. The regulations for day camp said that it was over 4 hours of program time. There were a couple other requirements. Once you go into that domain, you become a day camp, and you are regulated. Background checks for all staff, the number of staff, the training, the first aid, the CPR, the requirement of a nurse or a doctor available within a certain distance, having an ambulance. All of those things are taken into consideration with this, and we are investigated at least at a minimum of twice a year. So, although it wasn't our decision specifically to change from playground to day camp, and we want to be able to allow as many children as we can in our program, once this county started moving in that direction, it was only a matter of time before they came to Cicero and said, you have to become a day camp. And my worry was that we would have set up a program as a playground program. The health department would have come knocking on our door and said, you're a day camp. And we would not set the fee to cover the cost. We would have had either cancel the program or go to a day camp without assessing a fee to cover the cost. And this prior board told us that if we run a program, it has to be covered by the fees, that the town residents will not cover the fees. So we were proactive, unfortunately to some parents who didn't approve of the increase in fee, but we were proactive, meeting with the county prior to our summer brochure going out, setting our fee to cover those costs to be in line with a day camp. Unfortunately, it wasn't advertised. We didn't have the time to really get the word out to parents prior to last summer. Our summer brochure should be available by the beginning of April this year. And again, our program was in transition. I will admit it wasn't exactly what we wanted it to be last year because of the transition, but we will be on our game this year for that program. And we offer, and I would appreciate any comments from any of the parents to let us know. We have an open door, and we will do it whatever we can to improve the program.
And unfortunately, these regulations are put in place without town's input, so I appreciate the comments, Jody.
Besides that, Jody, it's my understanding that in Oswego County, Central Square School District area has closed all of their after work or after school or daytime programs, and they are scrambling to find particular programs for their children right now, and they're coming to the town of Cicero.
It's a difficult situation for all parents. I would love to offer a program for free and have every child, and I agree totally with what that mom just said. If we can keep our children active and involved, then Joe Snell and his crew doesn't have to be involved, and it's a less expense to the overall community and society. The problem is that it doesn't come cheap. The cost of staff and the cost of the requirements are borne by the participants in this program, and it is not subsidized by the town at all anymore. And it has been in the past, years past, but not within the last 10 years, and it was a substantial increase last year.
Thank you.